Globo, a very weird game from early Steve Jackson games. In our last episode, we looked at it, talked about its genesis. In this episode, we're just going to play a game. This is Globo. He's trying to squash all of the biters. When he squashes a biter, it splits into blips and yeasts. If you can get 3 blips and a yeast onto the same hex, they form into another biter. Problem is, every time he attacks and kills one of these biters, chunks of Globo get blown off. Can we eliminate all the biters and enough blips so that no more biters can form before we lose our head? Let's find out. There are 6 biters to start the game. Globo plays first. Then the biters put down, and our biters, we're playing solo, so there's a little bit of hidden movement and hidden deployment in this game that would make it a very different experience for 2 players. But we'll get to that. Because we're playing solo, we have just kind of general, we put Globo in the middle, kind of in an open area. These are walls that can only be passed by the blips. Yeast don't move, the biters have to go around, and all of Globo's pieces have to move around. Although that doesn't really apply. We'll explain how that works when we get to it. For now, what you need to know is that our strategy is we got a couple of biters that we're going to swarm from this side and then whittle down Globo, and then these other biters are going to come in kind of as a second wave and distract Globo so that we can form more biters while Globo is dealing with this second wave. That should be enough. Our last game, we only played like 3 or 4 turns, and it went the distance. Globo lost, but that's partly because we used bad tactics, and that's partly because it was our first time. It was a learning experience. We learned. Let's see if we've learned enough. Globo here can move 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, but he has to move to a space that is not occupied by a children's or a slapper. We're going to try to chase these 2 guys down. Once he has moved, then we can rearrange all of his little parts here. The zappers are shooters that are kind of weak, and the slappers are melee units, you can think of them that way, that are twice as strong. You have the red slappers cannot be adjacent to the head. So once our head moves to here, after moving, Globo looks a little something like this. You will note that no slappers can be adjacent to the head. This is a little bit vulnerable. This tendril of zappers, they don't have any shots. Their shots are blocked by the presence of the slappers, but we're okay with that. Slappers have a strength of 2, and as you can see, we've got 2 shots to kill this biter and 2 slappers attacking this biter. That means we can roll for this guy down here on the south first, and on a 5 we miss, and the guy on the west with a 3, he dies. Now when his biter dies, he will fission, as we said, into 6 different pieces. I flip over my biters. I go to the mystery bag, and I pull out 6 chips. If you were playing this as a 2-player game, the person playing the biters would get to select the mix of counters. He would stack them up, and then the player playing Globo would move those chits outward 2 spaces. If they run into a part of Globo, which you'll note they pretty much have to, right? That is when you reveal which chip is being moved, because if it's a yeast, it dies. If it is a blip, it dies, but it takes the piece of Globo with him. So we replace the biter with these 6 pieces. And then we don't have to worry about this one. He will survive. 1, 2. We don't have to worry about this one moving to here. This one is going to move to the opposite side of the table. See the letters here? See that N? If I take this, so weird, I chose the letter N. And it comes, so we are in hex LM. We're in hex M, so we're in this hex. This piece is going to move to here. It's a yeast. The next piece will appear here. Remember, we're in hex M, and it stretches all the way up to there. So we get a couple of yeasts. And now for the 2 fun bits. This one we're going to declare before we flip it over, and this one will attack those 2 slaps, or land on. If it's a blip, they're both destroyed. If it's a yeast, see the little yeasty looking guy? He looks like kind of like an awful green thing. Then the yeast is destroyed, and the slap will survive. So we put the blip and the yeast back in the bin, and we keep that slap. We may want to rebuild them later. That is the end of Globo's turn. Now the other guys get to go, and we're going to let our biter take a shot. Now, biter can move 4 hexes. There's no zones of control. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to try and tag this blue zap. No, I take it back. We can move 1, 2, 3. We're going to move to here. If we can attack and kill this blue zap, we will sever this tendril, and then these pieces cannot move on the next turn. And if the head does not move into contact with a blue zap, they will all die at the end of Globo's turn. So we left ourselves in a very precarious, vulnerable position here. I should also point out our blips can move 1. Well, so as I said, I'm actually going to move this blip. Here's K. I'm going to move this blip 1, 2 hexes over here. Let's put them right on top of this yeast. The blips float. If I can get 2 more blips onto this yeast, or if I can get them all onto this one, we'll replace it with a biter. We can replace our losses that way. But moving back over to this side, I think, we're not quite done. We do have a couple more biters that can move. As I said, we're going to start swarming 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to get silly. See this guy right here? He can enter the warp number 4. We roll a d6, and on a 6, he's sucked into the void, never to be seen again. Oh, I was hoping we could teleport to 3. Of course, if it was a 2, I think he remains where he is. I don't know, I have to check the rules. But I was hoping we could save some movement. Oh well. That's one for Globo. I hope you enjoyed it, buddy, because you have some other issues that you have to deal with. Coming back down here, this biter is attacking. Biters have an attack strength of 2. On a 1 or a 2, this blue zap is gone. We've rolled a 5, so it survives. And now, homeboy here is going to die. But before he does, we get 1 regeneration point. And I'm going to use this white die to remind myself I've got 1 regen point. I could, right now, grow an extra red slapper. I'm going to wait until next turn. For 2 points, you can rego a blue zapper. Don't need it. Instead, what I'm going to do is move my head, and everybody can move. So to simplify matters, I like to just pull these out of the way. 1, 2, 3. Let's put them right there. And that way, we can bring our... he was right here. 1, 2, 3. I'm actually going to bring him right there. And I think that's going to let me bring a couple of slappers there. 1, 2. I got to start thinking more defensively. I'm usually pretty bad about that. So we'll put a zapper over here, and then we just need to fill in our slappers. Of course, we want our 2 and our 2. And then we can just kind of round it out. Now, our head can fire up to 15 hexes. So I'm leaving an opening here to take a shot. That may be a mistake. If we don't kill this biter, he's going to be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and start chomping on our head. We may have wanted to bring this over and put some defensive slappers out, but our head shoots and it hits on a 1 through 5. So with a 3, he will destroy that biter. Then we have an attack over here. As we said, on a 1 through 4, that biter gets flipped over, and then down here we have 1 more attack, 1 through 4. You may not want to attack this many biters. We're going to have to drop 18 blips and yeasts on the table, but I think it's worth doing, because we only have 1 more real attack guy left to go. Remember, kids, when they go north, south, to the west, 1, 2, it doesn't matter what it is, it will survive. Except this is a yeast. Oh, this is interesting. No, we do need to check. Because it's yeast, it's going to stay right there. Oh, no, that's not true. Because it exploded, it explodes over the wall. So they can still land there. Now I've got 2 pieces, and I need to declare which one goes where. Because if this is a blip, which it is, and if this is a yeast, which it's not, we just took out 2 slappers. We may need to regenerate 2 more slappers, huh? Then we have a second stack over here. Everybody we've got clear skies for 2 hexes in every direction. So in this case, we can just play it simple and drop them down. Now, when you're playing 2-player, the Biter player selects the selection. In this case, he selected 2 yeasts and 4 blips. But it is the Globo player who decides which piece moves where. So he has to run the risk of, is this piece a blip or a yeast? I don't know. And that becomes important in a situation like this, where you are bringing pieces. We're on the edge of the map, so things get a little complicated. But before we go take a look at that, this is where the Globo player, not knowing what these are, has to worry about, well, I hope this is a yeast so I can just kill it. And it's not, it's a blip. And I hope this is a yeast, it's a blip. So you can see how quickly our Globber, if it was only a blogger, our Globo is whittling himself down. But we're making good progress. I will flip this one over because it's not going to land on a person. You can see we have a slapper here that's out of contact. This guy goes up north. He is a yeast. This guy goes up north. He is a blip, 1, 2. And then this guy will be a blip up on the north shore as well. So we're all done, and our table looks a little something like this at the end of the turn. We have 2 regen points, and Globo needs to decide, do I want to generate zaps or slaps? I've got 2 points to spend. I can buy 2 more slaps. I think we need to do that. And at the end of the turn is when he does it, so we can put him anywhere because we get to move first. Which way do we want to go? We've got 2 blips over here and another blip. So we're in danger of getting another biter over there. We've got a total of 4 blips over here and 1 there. Blips only move 2 spaces. They can pass over walls. And we do have another biter over there. So I'm thinking what we do is we bring Globo. Let's just bring him right into the heart of this area. 1, 2, 3. No, he can't do that. We have to pick up our slapper so we don't lose it, don't we? We're going to have to come 1, 2... Well, we'll go to there, I guess, is 3. And maybe we can tidy up some of these yeasts, too, to buy us some safety. Now, this hand can't move until I get a couple of zaps next to it. The rest of these pieces were attached at the start of the turn, so I can put those wherever I want. Here's our situation. We've got a little tendril down here. Oh, I can't put that red. That slapper has to go there. And what that does for us, because remember, red can't be adjacent to the face. It gives us an attack strength of 5 against this yeast. That yeast gets chomped on by Globo. We have an attack strength of 4 against this blip, and he goes goodbye. We've got an attack strength of, and here we have to declare, we're going to use these 2 slappers against this blip, 1 through 4. He's gone, and then I've got a zapper and a slapper attacking this yeast, and I need a 1, 2, or 3. That yeast is still alive, and I should have zapped with this guy down here. That was a big mistake. It is now the kid's turn. You got to get 3 kids on a yeast to have any effect. So we're going to try to do that right now. The blips only move 2 spaces, so let's bring 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's going to take us a little while. This blip is going to go 1, 2 and seek safety behind the wall. And we have, let's see, do we have any more? I got 3 blips up here that are at risk. Remember, Globo can move down here and attack. This is a donut shape. It's a toroid. So these 2 sides are like a Pac-Man tunnel, and these 2 sides are like a Pac-Man tunnel. It's an infinite plane, if you will. It's a bounded infinite plane. We got all of the threats out of here. I'm not going to worry about those yeasts. They don't move. They don't attack. I need to get down over to this direction or up here. They know that too. We could also run for safety here. I think we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go 1, 2. Man, it's so far away. These blips are so slow. And then we have this guy who can go 1, 2, 3, 4, full kamikaze. We'll try to get in the way and slow Globo down a little bit. There's no attacks on the part of the kids, so we're up to 3 regen points. And I'm only going to spend 1 this turn because I want to wait and see what shapes up. I am going to purchase another slapper, and then we go 1, 2, 3 with Globo. And we can set up, because we don't have a whole lot of slappers, we may be able to set this up in a way that we can take some shots at this biter from a safe distance. Globo then lunges out with a couple of tendrils and a whole lot of slappers. We can't slap any of these guys yet. The walls are in the way, but it does give us a lot of opportunity. We've got an attack strength of 4 against this biter, and we miss. Then we've got an attack strength of, well, we've got 3 zappers, we got so many slappers, we're just going to be able to crush this yeast without any difficulty whatsoever. And I think that's it for Globo. Now the biter gets to attack with it. Well, we could, let's do this. I'm going to move blip, blip, and that's going to flip and give us a biter. I'm going to flip those over for now. I'm going to bring this blip. I could use this blip to make a kamikaze attack against this slapper. I think that's a bad trade-off, though. Instead, I think I'm probably better off running for 1-2. If I can get over to here, then I may be able to build another biter over here. I do have... Oh, you know what? I did have one more attack I didn't see. You see this slapper on J? He could have slapped at this blip up here. Oh, well, too late now. 1, 2. We'll try to get away. 1, 2. We're trying... Oh, you know, I should have run... I should run for the portal. That's my only chance of getting over here in time. I need to get one more blip to build that biter. Be that as it may, this turns into a biter that can't do anything else this turn. He can't move. He can't attack. He just sits there waiting for death to come. If he survives, then we may have an opportunity. This lovely hole here is going to make a great place for our face to sit while we rearrange Globo. Oh, he has another point. I'm going to go ahead and buy... Man, they haven't taken any of my blue zaps out yet. I'm going to wait a turn. That's 3. Maybe I can get a second head. For 4 points, you can regenerate and split off and have 2 Globos, which would really be saying something. We've lunged out this way, trying to take out this biter and this biter. We do have a couple of shots at this blip. We'll take him on a 1 through 4 because of the 2 slaps. We get a 1. He is off the table. Now for the fun bits. We have a total attack strength of 5 right here. With a 3, this biter bites the dust. We got an attack strength of 4. With a result of a 2, this biter bites the dust, and we get to play with our stacks. This biter gets replaced with a stack. Once again, I'll remind you, in a 2-player game, the number of yeasts versus blips is up, and the order in which they're placed is up to the controlling player, the biter player. But where these pieces go is up to the Globo player. He's going there. The next one is going here, and it's a blip. And the next one is going here, and it's a yeast. Now I have to declare these 3 are going to go like this. And I declare because any yeast is just removed. Any blip takes that piece of Globo with him. So we maintain the blue, and then we have another blip, so we've lost 2 more red slaps. Down here, let's start with our declaration of the, attacks, if you will. And flipping these over, we find 2 blips. These 2 red slaps are going to be gone. It's a good thing we've got 3 regen points to spend. These 2 pieces will go like this, and then, as before, hexes L and N are on the north side of the map, so L and N will appear here. This will be the first, and they'll actually wind up here and here. Did I miss one? I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4. Where was I? I was here, and we went, oh, those go 1, 2, I'm sorry. This blip down here, I went wrong. You don't go like that. This piece goes to here and wipes out this red slap. All right, so that's how things look down here. And then I have the 2 pieces up here that he was on hex L. They're actually going to wind up like this. All right, so that ain't bad for the kid player. It is now, speaking of, it is now his turn. What do we want to do here? I'm going to start by making a kamikaze run with this blip on this blue boy. On a 1, 2, or a 3, the blip is removed from play automatically. On a 1, 2, or a 3, so is the blue boy. Nope. So that was kind of a waste. But if we had pulled that off, it would effectively pin Globo in place. He would have to move to here to regain contact with his limbs. If at the end of the turn, these blue or red pieces that are not attached to Globo die off, they're removed from play. So I think that was worth a shot, even if it didn't quite pay off. Now taking a look down here, I do have a blip. I'm going to run away 1, 2 in this direction. And we have 4 more blips that are being, well, actually 6 more blips altogether that we're going to have to run away. This blip is going to run into a warp portal, and on a 4, he will appear here. That is his first, and he can make another movement to there. This blip will move 1, 2, and then we've got these 4 who are going to race to see who can get to this yeast first. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. And I think that's it for the... We don't have any biters. We don't have any attacks. Globo gets his 4th regeneration point. I'm only going to spend 2 of them. See, we're at 2 now. And I'm going to grab 2 more red slaps. I'm getting a little leery of how light we are in the slap department. And then he, on the next turn, so that's the end of the turn. So the next thing we do is move our head, and we're going to bring him down 1, 2, 3, and we're going to reach out. Actually, let's bring him to 3. We're going to reach out and try to touch someone. This is going to get really confusing. Down here, Globo looks like this. The G identifies hex G, H, I, J, and K. Up here, things look like this. Here's G, H, I, J, K. That gives us the opportunity to make a strength 4 attack against this old boy and a strength 4 attack against this old boy. So the first one is a hit, and the second one is also a hit. So these 2 blips are gone. They are out of the picture. We're doing a lot better this time. I feel much more comfortable about the job we're doing with Globo, identifying threats, protecting ourselves along the way. That is the end of Globo's turn. Now we're going to go 1, 2. With this blip, we must protect our blips. We're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. I know you can't see that. We're going to try to get these 3 blips down to this yeast, and then we'll bring this blip 1, 2, trying to get to safety over the wall. Didn't quite work out. Are there any other blips around here? There's not. Okay. On the regen phase, we get a 3rd point, and I'm going to use that point to buy another blue zapper. I haven't done much shooting in this game, but I'm using them all up. I really want to get a little bit more length because I got to chase these guys down, and that's actually going to be easier than you think, isn't it? Because I can go 1, 2, 3 to here. The problem with parking Globo here is that I can't put a blue piece here without putting another blue piece there. But frankly, I'm not too concerned about that. If I can wipe out just... There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blips left on the table. If I can wipe out 3 of them, then there'll be no way for the blips to form into a biter, and we'll win the game. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to stretch way out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this gives me some flexibility. And this is why I bought that extra blue zapper. I now have 3 zappers that can reach out and touch this blip. This is on a 1, 2, or 3. That blip is gone. So that blip takes the shot and goes down. Now I've got a total of 4 attacking this blip, and with a result of a 5, nothing will happen. The problem with that is that the blip here can make a kamikaze run. Boop, boop. And on a 1, 2, or 3, we'll sever this blue zapper. This, well, actually, I probably should have moved these guys for... No, wait, we can't do that, can we? That would end the game for the kids because we only have 3 blips left. I think Globo has pretty much won this game because if we... Oh, and he only gets to move 2 as well. Wait, where was he? He was like right here, right? Oh, we do have an attack against that yeast, too. And on a 2, this yeast goes goodbye. So these 3 blips are in big trouble because... Oh, there's a 4th blip over here. Blip, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is about all we can do, right? Maybe we bring this other blip 1, 2 down this way. There is this last hope. If we can get 3 of our 4 blips, so maybe that is the thing to do. Let's call it. Let's call it that we did that, because it buys our kids a little bit more time to get to safety. Oh, you know what the problem with that is, though? Globo, he only has 1 regeneration point. That's why you want to save 2, because he could have regenerated, and then you regenerate first, and then he starts his movement phase with all of the blue zappers. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we're not going to be able to move very far because we have to get in here. And I think it's the blue zaps. The rules just say any piece not connected to the head, and I'm going to interpret that as connected to the head through a blue zapper. Oh, also, this is an illegal play. I forgot about that. These guys need to be... Oh, Nelly. I think I cheated on that last turn. Because the red slappers, I forgot, can't be adjacent to the head. I would have needed to bring these 2. I don't think that's that big a deal, though, because I have enough room over here. I could have put another slapper here, and 1, 2, 3. We still would have had our range. So I don't think it's that big a deal. Except it does mean that we would have had lesser attack on that 1 yeast. Maybe could have arranged it like that. I don't know. Yeah, this may have been the way to do that. I'm not 100% sure. I got enough room around. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm going to pick things up where they are. And as I said, I'm going to say that our head has to move 1, 2, 3. He's going to move to here. And none of these pieces, that's why I needed to pin those in place. So these are the only pieces I have the liberty to move at will. And the reason that becomes an issue is that I can't stretch out this turn and get my hands on this red blip. He's going to be able to slip away. I also have to be careful. The ratio of blue zaps to red slaps gets wonky, because remember, slaps block the shooty part of our head. Although, I think that's it. I think we're done with Globo. Now our blips get to move. 1, 2, he's going to appear. We were hoping for a 5, but we'll take a 2. That's pretty far away. And we'll go 1, 2 and see where that takes us to the 5. Yeah, that worked out pretty well for our blips. But now that he can move 1, 2, 3, Globo is going to start pressing down to the area where it's clear our blips are headed. If we can, do we stretch way out? I don't think we want to stretch way out this turn. We're going to keep our boys, keep a little rear guard action here, I think. Put some slappers around to keep those blips away. But this way, if a blip does run kamikaze, of course, if a blip runs kamikaze, that wouldn't work out so hot, because then they wouldn't be able to form up, would they? That's all for Globo. He did have a regen point, so we're saving that to see what we need to get. We're kind of happy with where we're at right now. 1 point. We can bring this guy 1, 2 to here. Or better yet, why don't we go 1, 2? We'll bring them both to here, because there are some additional yeasts over on this side of the table. 1, 2. We may be able to reach this yeast and get a biter going before Globo can get into play. That's the end of the turn. Globo goes to 2. He's going to move 3 spaces to here. And I think we have to reach out now. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna reach out with... Oh, if I only had... Oh, these guys can't be in the same hex. They got to be like that. Yeah, they were both on this warp, so we'll go 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we'll leave one of these guys back there for some slaps that we can use on that yeast. 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5, and a 6. So we only have an attack strength here of... Well, we've got an attack strength here of 1, 2, 3, 4. Just trying to get that yeast. On a 1, the yeast is gone, so that cleans that up. That would be the other way to do this, is if we had moved over and wiped out all the yeasts, then the blips couldn't Voltron into a biter. We're going to take a 1 or a 2 shot against this guy, and we get him. And we're going to take a 1 through 4 shot against this guy, and we get him. That brings us to the end of the game. We are down to just 1 blip left on the table. There's no way for more biters to form, so I think that's going to call it right there. Kind of a weird little esoteric game. I really love the infinite table where you're drifting up and down and you're able to cross. It really expands the possibilities of play and causes me a lot of headaches. So not something I would add to my regular repertoire. A little too esoteric. I think the theme, look, we're just killing these little alien kids, teehee. It's a little off-putting. It's not surprising to me that a game with this weird of a game and without Tom Wham involved, with this weird of a setting or theme, if you will, didn't really go anywhere. It didn't rate any more than a magazine article and one kind of cheapy, almost shovelware product. But it's something I've been curious about ever since I was 12 years old. It's never too late to fulfill those dreams, guys. It's never too late to play those games that you saw on the shelf as a wee bairn and are curious about. And you can find, as I said, I got this at the archive on the internet. This is from Space Gamer number 62. Look for the magazine with a pretty babe on the cover. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm praying for you.